Oh no! How is it living in again? How is this happening? Please just resolve. Cryptic command, please just resolve. Just counter the Electro Dominance, let us draw the card. You know, all that good stuff. Hello and welcome, guys. We are here for round 4 with the Kiki list that is currently residing on your screen. That's right, we are 2-1. Hopefully we can get this 3-1 after we tragically lost round 3 to a player that we actually played against in round 1. So if you want to go see what happened there, then you'll have to check out the previous match. Link in the description below. But yeah, I'm not going to dwell on the intro here, so let's just jump straight into the games. Let's not play against Colossus Hammer again. Let's jump on in here. On the draw, finally, not that it's a good thing. We have a hand that can cast spells, and we have a turn 2 remand and an off. Yeah, I mean, we'd like to find a Cascade Bluffs with a double island hand, but I think we can manage. Playing against a Witch King with a 1 instead of an I. You know, that Leet Speak. And we'll keep. They mulligan to 6. No companions to reveal over there. How rude of them not to give us some kind of inkling of what they're playing. Shock Steven's Pass. Okay. This is some sort of mirror, perhaps. If this is Living End again, I'm gonna die. Play Island Pass. Oh no! How is it Living End again? How is this happening? What is going on with this league? So, round 1, we got paired against Hammer Time, and then round 2 against Living End, and then round 3 against Hammer Time, and now round 4 against Living End. There's no way we played against Witch King before, right? How can I find out? Let me go to my games here. Now, our Living End opponent before was Kazakh. So at least it's a different player this time, but what the heck, man? Alright, we'll opt. Snapcaster Mage. Nah, we want more lands and more interaction. Just kidding, I guess we'll take a Snapcaster Mage anyways. This is just wild, guys. Alright, let's put out the Steam Vents. Represent maybe something like Izzet Charm or whatever. The life total is unlikely to matter here, so. Also lets us work towards Kiki. They cycle a Curator of Mysteries. And of course, on turn 2, after yet another cycle, I've neglected to put any yields to the cycling here, so. Man, this is super deja vu. Wonder if this opponent is playing any copies of Crashing Footfalls as well. I would imagine that they are. Well, we did pretty well against Living End before, although in all honesty, I felt like I got a little bit lucky in especially the last game there. Alright, we'll untap. They fetch on our upkeep. Okay. I guess they have Electro... What is it called? Electro Balance, plus a Force Backup. I mean, this feels very reminiscent to our game 1 against our previous opponent, but of course there's nothing we can do about Force Negation here as they cycle in Even. Maybe not. They must be going for the Electro Balance here, and much like before, we'll probably lose to it if it does resolve. We can remand at least. Maybe this opponent won't have the Force Negation. I guess they're not going for it. We'll play the fetch land so we can get some more red sources in play. And we'll pass it back. Maybe they're just trying to make us think that they have Electro Balance. No, they definitely have it. Definitely not responding to the balance itself. I am okay with taking 0 damage. They can put their Living End or Crashing Footfalls on the stack, and then we will charm it. Do we want to charm or remand here? Charm is the most mana efficient. That said, if we charm, that means that we can Pestermite, untap, remand this upcoming turn. So I think it is correct to charm. We'll just take our damage here. Maybe it was incorrect to play the fetch. That's okay. Let's counter target spell that one. And we'll probably get forced and lose the game, just like game 1 last time. My goodness, what is going on? This is ridiculous. So, clearly that must be a very good play pattern for the living end opponents. Maybe we'll beat them with Relic game 2 like we did against our last living end opponent, and then game 3 they'll rely on Crashing Footfalls to get through. We're at 2. Yeah, we're just dead. Okay. Game 2. Against this very unique deck we've never seen before. We want the Disputes, of course. We want the Relics, of course. Do we want Gust? Gust hits Footfalls, and that's about it. I guess it hits Electro Balance as well. Is that worth having Gust for? We didn't bring it in before, and I'm not inclined to do so now. I guess you can also use Gust to answer a Rhino if they do have Crashing Footfalls. I don't know, we'll see. We'll bring in Gust if we have extra things to take out, I suppose. So we trimmed a Kiki before. We can trim all of the bolts and flame slashes. Our opponent doesn't have threats that they commit like that. And we do have room for 1 Gust. Is there anything else we want to change? We could side out Blood Moons, as our opponent is also on a blue-red deck. But the last opponent we played against had things like Cryptic Command in their deck, and Blood Moon locking out our opponent's Cryptic Command could be good. It was also pretty dead when we drew it, though, so I'm going to side out the Blood Moons and have Aether Gusts instead. And see how that goes. More interactions got to be better than dead Blood Moons, right? Beyond the play, of course. We have a turn 1 Relic. We have Disputes and Charms and Kiki. Yeah, I'll take it. I guess Dispute only protects against specifically As Foretold and doesn't stop us from getting balanced. So if they do have balance and Footfalls, then we'll be paying the price here. It's alright, though. No reason to play out the fetch just yet, I don't think. We'll play our Relic and pass it back. Scalding Tarn, pass. Alright. Now we probably will play out the fetch. Unless we... Okay, off. Yeah, we'll play out the fetch. We don't want to shuffle... we don't want to shuffle away what we scry to the bottom with Opt if we do choose to do that. Let's go ahead and Relic our opponent immediately. No reason to give them the option, of course. If they do cycle something... I mean, I guess it would be better for us if they exiled the creature, but they're never going to do that, so we might as well force them to exile the card when it's their only option. Our opponent has a 2-mana spell, Chalice of the Void on 1. Very interesting. We only really have Opts that this does anything against. We sided out our bolts, so we don't really care about Chalice on 1. Let's go ahead and fetch Shock in case we do draw an Opt off of our Opt. Shark Typhoon. Interesting. A little slow. I guess a Pestermite would be better, or some kind of interaction if they do have the Electro Balance. But we're about to be able to hardcast Mystical Dispute, so... we'd also kind of just like to hit lands. I'm going to bottom the Shark Typhoon. Could be wrong, but... Alright, and this Chalice is fine. It's not like we're playing Dispel or Spell Pierce or anything like that, so if our opponent is playing those spells, then this actually hurts them more than it hurts us. Alright, let's play out the Sulphur Falls, I guess, and pass it back. I mean, we're making our Mystic Sanctuary worse, but... Can't have it all. Cannot have it all. We can always lead Island into fetch land if we do need to get a Mystic Sanctuary going. Oh, of course we need to Relic our opponent. I should have already done that. Missing the opportunity, sadly, so... Okay, they let it go. No big deal. And again, no reason really to do anything here. Don't want to get Electro Balanced. Plus Footfalls, that would be problematic, so... let's play out the Steeman's Tap. Actually, we want to hold up our mana here so we can Charm plus Dispute if our opponent has something plus, you know, a way to force it through. So, like, if they fetch Shock, Balance for 0, and then go for the Force of Negation thing again, we actually have protection against it this time. No dice, though. Opponent, why didn't you put Chalice of the Void on 0? Wouldn't that be such a good play? So I'm very tempted to just go ahead and use our Archmage's Charm here to draw 2 cards, but I'm really in fear of getting Electro balanced. I suppose if they have Footfalls, we can always steal one of the tokens, so it's not like the end of the world. Alright, let's go for the draw. If our opponent wants to fight, we can Mystical Dispute. And they just let it go immediately. Alright, well, I'll take it. Remand's a good pickup. Snapcaster Mage is a good pickup. I guess we're shocking Steam Vents, so we can Snap Charm. Okay, we'll just take all the damage this game. No respect to a clock from our opponent at all. Yeah, there's no way to know how much work this relic is doing either, because is our opponent playing the Living Ends and no Footfalls? There's no way to tell. If we go for the Snap Charm and our opponent fights, then we're going to be wasting the Snapcaster Mage. It'll just be a 2-1 body. So I don't know if it's right to commit the Snap until we get one more land into play. That way we can at least fight with Mystical Dispute. We don't want to let our opponent get a 2-for-1 from Cryptic Command, for example, so I guess we'll just wait. Be a little patient here. We could have Charm to draw 2 more, but having a hard counterspell on board, ready to go, seems pretty good. And we draw a Dead Oct, sadly. We also have a couple Relic of Progenituses in our deck that get countered by Chalice, so we do have a few dead draws. Alright, here I am inclined to go for the Snap. I guess they could Cryptic plus Remand, and we can't really punish it. We could also just not fight over the Snap, and if the Snap doesn't resolve, then we can just Charm to draw 2 cards, like from hand. I don't know, though. I think I want to get something going sooner rather than later. Try not to let our opponent draw out of this. We'll target the Archmage's Charm, of course, as targeting Opt wouldn't even do anything. And we will Charm to draw 2 cards. If our opponent remands it, or something like that. They do remand it, that's fine. We'll Relic our opponent. And we'll untap with our measly clock in play. More lands is actually fine. Pestermite's great. Yeah, we just gotta try to end this game now. We've got sufficient amounts of counter magic. At least I would think so. We'll pass it back. Alright, let's Relic our opponent again. Just keep this thing going. They get a basic island. Interesting. Playing around Blood Moon, so it would seem. A good thing we aborted those out. Cycling Street Wraith, that's fine. In fact, that actually takes a turn off of our clock. Cycle more Street Wraiths, please. There we go. Although it's not like we have Lightning Bolt to punish them. And even so, if we did, it would be countered by Chalice on 1, so... Alright, do we go for anything? I think not. Now that we have a clock in play, we can manage to play this do-nothing game. We'll immediately Relic our opponent once. This might provoke a response. Alright, it doesn't. We'll attack. Now we have double Remand plus Archmage's Charm, but not also Mystical Dispute, unfortunately. We could Remand Archmage's Charm and Mystical Dispute and keep one Remand ready to go. We can yield to the Aven and the cycling and all that. Our opponent can use their Electro Balance to kill our Snapcaster Mage. That would be kind of annoying. If they give us the opportunity to dispute something sometime soon, then we probably should take it, as it's going dead pretty quick as well, so... Sanctuarying back nothing. Love to see it. Alright. Again, I think that we're totally fine to go for absolutely nothing here. Island, that is a fine draw. We have double Remand, Dispute, plus Charm, all at the ready, so... And the next turn, if we just resolve a Kiki and attack with both creatures, we have lethal, actually, so... Is this an electro dominance, electro balance? I don't remember what the name of the electro dominance. That's what it is. We can remand this. We could let it go. We could charm it. I don't mind using a remand here, I think. If they go for it again, then we can hard cast Mystical Dispute with remand backup. Or just remand it again. And then have Archmage's Charm and Dispute during our opponent's turn. Now we have lethal with the combo. So that's nice. They just let the remand go, don't even recast. Okay, okay. Let's exile a card. Probably should have already done this. Didn't think about it. Been thinking about more important things, and pass it back. Alright, opponent, what's the verdict? If they go for the dominance again, I'm kind of inclined to let this resolve. Hardcasting Dispute leaves us with just Charm during this upcoming turn. Not something I super love. That said, they get an additional spellcast out of this that might force us to use the remand anyways. The next turn, if they dominance for 1 and we Archmage's Charm it, let's see, that would leave them with 4 mana up, so they could Cryptic or Force Negation or whatever. I guess they can actually Force Negation now as well anyways, so I'm inclined to let this go. I don't know, it's a really tough situation. Alright, I think we remand, because during our opponent's turn, we can cast Pestermite, which doesn't get forced, so they would have to have exactly Cryptic Command or Mystical Dispute. In fact, they could have Mystical Dispute now. It's tough. If we remand now, we're playing around Dispute. It's really annoying that we don't have a force backup of our own. Alright, I'm gonna let this go. It feels really bad to do so, but... Footfalls. Okay. We don't necessarily have to remand this, because our Pestermite plus Kiki is lethal this upcoming turn, and even so, we would have 2 turns to do the thing. 1 turn, actually. It would have to be next turn, because then they'd have a lethal attack on us. Kind of awkward. Okay. I think we can remand this pretty safely. Let's see, we can also Pestermite, untap a land, remand, holding up. Let's see, we have 3, untap, 1, 4, remand, holding up Dispute only. That is the best way to play around our opponent having a Mystical Dispute, though. Alright, that's what I'm going to go for. I think it buys us the most turns as well. Pestermite, untap, remand. I guess we could also Pestermite tap their island, remand. I don't know, though. That represents a lot less interaction from our side, so let's not do that. Alright, and now we'll remand. I suppose we actually don't even have to remand. We can hold up remand plus Dispute during our opponent's turn, and it might be fine. This also exposes our Pestermite to a second Electro Dominance. It's very weird. And we play into Force Negation. I think we're supposed to let this go, but I don't know. This is just a weird situation. Let me know in the comments what you would have done here. I'm done fretting about it. Alright, so they can attack us, and we'll just combo them for the game, so... Yeah. Suppose if they remand our Kiki... Let's see, we have 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3 mana up to defend it. Which could be Archmage's Charm. We'll see. Actually, the best way to fight here is to end of turn steal their Rhino. Yeah. And then we can Sanctuary back remand to back up our Kiki as well. So that way, let's see, it'll be 5, 1, 2, 3. We'll have remand plus Dispute for the Kiki turn. All right. So let's put the remand back on top first. Okay. Yep. Alright, and now let's charm to steal a rhino, as that is also lethal. So they have to respond to this. We can dispute during their turn to force them to be tapped out. I guess we already have remand ready to go for our Kiki anyway, so maybe we didn't need to. Okay, they're going to dispute the charm. We can remand. No, we actually can't do anything here. Do we dispute anyways, just to tap 3 of our opponent's mana? I think we do. Okay. No. Now we should be safe for a combo turn. Our opponent needs to have 2 pieces of interaction for Kiki Jiki. I guess they could have force to interact as well. I don't know. We'll just see what they have. Remand. Let's remand our opponent's remand. Oh, the cycling. Okay, so they need to draw into the force if they don't have it already. Our Kiki resolves. I think that's... Alright. Whew, we got game 2. Very close. Alright, let's go back to sideboarding here. So we know our opponent has Crashing Footfalls. Still not really interested in Blood Moon here. Although it does really limit our opponent. It doesn't seem like it would be the worst. Jace probably not interesting here. Our opponent has Chalice of the Void, which is pretty annoying. Maybe we want to trim on Opts to play around that. I think bringing in the Kiki is fine. Rejection only hits Chalice and nothing else, so I think I'm okay with having 1 Moon over 1 Opt, and we'll try it like this. This way we have a minimum number of cards that get hit by Chalice on 1. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. On the draw again, sadly. Very tough to navigate these games. Alright, we have a Remands and Aether Gust. Don't think we could really ask for much else. I guess a Mystical Dispute would be better. Maybe. Right, we'll play out a fetch land here, planning to get a Steam Vent, and then we'll probably just start playing out some islands here. Although we've drawn our 1 of Sanctuary, which is pretty annoying. I guess we could have led on the Sanctuary. I don't know, though. I don't think we need to do that. We are well set up to just go ahead and get a bunch of islands into play here naturally. Alright, Instep will fetch. If our opponent wants to Living End a 4/4 into play, that's fine. I mean, it might kill us, but we're not doing anything about it, so... Alright. Island, pass it back. Cryptic Command is interesting here. I don't know how good Cryptic Command is against our opponent. It's probably not really the best, but... It does bounce tokens from the Crashing Footfalls, though, which is actually how we won Game 3 against our Living End opponent before. At least you guys are getting a masterclass on how to play against Living End. Hopefully I don't mess it up now that I've said that. Alright, I think it's okay to go ahead and play out a fetch land here, so... No big deal. Although fetching at our opponent's instead might give them a reason to start casting things, so maybe we don't do it just yet. Because then they would have Electrodominance plus Remand backup, and I don't really want to give them the knowledge that we would be 1 mana less, so Relic is good. Do we play it, though? I don't know. I think we play it this upcoming turn, although the earlier we get it into play, the better. The problem is, if we just play land and pass, we'll be holding up double spell, which is probably better than a single spell and the Relic, but I don't know, though. If the Relic actually resolves, then we guarantee that between our instep and our opponent's next main phase, they can't Living End us. So it's, like, very weird. I think we want to play it next turn. So I'm going to play the island and pass. And of course, we're not fetching until we absolutely have to, so our opponent can't make us a mana short when we need to fight over things that really matter. They don't go for it. Alright, that's nice. That's a good sign that our play of holding onto the relic is potentially going to be effective here. And I think, again, for the last time, I do not want to fetch here. Right? Island's actually pretty good. We can play Flight of Strand to have Kiki mana, but we don't have Pestomite ready to go, so we can delay that a bit. Just drop this relic into play. Now we have the maximum amount of interaction if our opponent goes for the Electro Dominance. I apologize for the fact that I was calling it Electro Balance this whole video. Suffice it to say, I've been pretty shocked. Remand our relic. What happens if we remand our own relic? Is that just absurd? Is that just ridiculous? I think I'm going to let it go. And we'll play it again, as one piece of interaction will be enough at our instep at this point. I guess our opponent could have Force and Negation, but I mean, alright, it works. Let's go ahead and exile a card. And I think it's safe to fetch now, so we'll fetch Shock the Steam Vents. And pass it back. Been very careful to not get punked out by our fetch lands. So now our opponent needs to lean very heavily on their Crashing Footfalls. We can let the Electro Dominance resolve if they have it, and then Aether Gust the Footfalls, and that might be very effective. Of course, that does play into Force and Negation. The problem is, if we just let it resolve and let them untap and go to Gust one of their Rhinos, if they did have the Crashing Footfalls there, they'd have mana up to fight over the Aether Gust anyways. So, getting the extra card by making them pitch to Force might be worth it more in that case. Do we want to cycle Relic? I don't think that we need to. Again, we can hold on to this Sanctuary for the time being. We might get some use out of it yet. Pass it back. Sitting kind of pretty here. Abrade the Relic. Alright, well, let's start by doing this. As if it makes a difference. Do we need to pop the Relic? We currently have Cryptic plus Remand up, or Remand Gust. If we exile with the Relic, then our opponent can have Balance plus a Dispute plus a Force. Like, they would play Balance. We would either remand the Balance or remand whatever they cast off the Balance, right? And then they force it. And then we cast another 2-mana spell down to only 2 mana up, and then their Mystical Dispute wins out in that case. So, think if we're playing the most carefully, we have to let this go. The problem is that it makes future living ends potentially much better. Jeez. I basically feel like we're losing to Force Negation in all of this. But our opponent didn't have the Force Negation last turn, so I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to pop the Relic. Alright. Not punished yet. Our opponent could still have Crashing Footfalls. But we have double Counterspell to handle that, if they do. They cycle the Aven, okay. Alright. Alright, I think if our opponent had it, they would have gone for it. So let's go ahead and fetch out the Steam Vents. Still have the same number of interaction spells anyways. We'll untap if our opponent lets us, and they do. Shark Typhoon. That one's fantastic. Alright, let's get this mountain out there and pass it back. Now we can continue to maintain our card velocity here with the card drawing, but also put a threat into play, which is fantastic. And it's uncounterable, which is one of the biggest upsides to Shark Typhoon. Our opponent can't really react to this Shark Typhoon gratefully. They're cracking Islet, which is fine with me. The question is, how much are we going to Shark for? We probably need to leave Remand and Gust up. I don't know if I want to make just a 1/1 Shark, so let's wait a little bit on that. Valakut Awakening is very intriguing. Let's play out the fetch and pass it back. By the way, our Blood Moons are looking pretty good now, since our opponent only has one basic island and we have effectively 4. Again, maximum patience here. Brazen Borrower, the creature. We can Cryptic here and still have Remand plus Gust. We can also use our Shark to trade with or eat up the Borrower. So, I mean, we just gotta let this resolve. Not much we can do about it. They have another island. Okay. We could use Shark just to maintain the parity and trade with our opponent's Borrower without going down a card. That seems pretty good. I think I'm into that. I guess they could Electro Balance to kill the Shark. That would require them to tap 3, so they'd have 5 up, which is Remand, Dispute, or Cryptic plus Dispute. I think it's probably worth it, though. Our opponent doesn't seem like they're in the driver's seat just yet. Maybe I'm interpreting this incorrectly, but... Let's get our cards and our Shark here. Now we have a Dispute, which is actually an amazing piece of interaction to add to our arsenal. I don't know if I even want to play this Valakut Awakening. We could put back the Dispute and a Remand to hope that we draw more interaction. We could just cash in the Cryptic to bounce draw something. Let's not, though. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. I wish Sanctuary could get back Shark Typhoon. That would be amazing. But we are playing out the Sanctuary now to keep getting ahead on lands here. Sadly, we don't have anything to snap back, but we'll see. Cycling the Riverwinder, that's cool. This is going to be a long game. Our opponent's ahead on clock as well. Alright, let's untap. We could also Awakening away the Cryptic command. That seems kind of crazy, though. Another Relic is good. I wonder if our opponent just tries to counter this because they have nothing else to do. Or they're too afraid to do anything else. Alright, Relic resolves. Let's tap it. And pass it back. Again, we're playing the nice and slow-paced game here. I think I am about ready to cast Valakut Awakening, though. I just don't know what, if any, cards we're going to put back. This seems like an easy Remand, so... Start getting value. If they cast it again, we'll Dispute it for sure. I mean, I guess we could snap Remand it. Now we have at least one card to put away with our Awakening. I think it's about time to put away this Dispute as well, so... Let's go for the Valakut Awakening, I think. Yep. We'll put back the Dispute, the land. Maybe the Remand, maybe not. Maybe the Cryptic, maybe not. Kind of feel like Cryptic's not doing its best here, although we do have triple counterspell backup for the Cryptic, so maybe that's reason enough to hold on to it. Not really sure. Alright, let's get this land out of here. Let's get this Dispute out of here. Snapcaster maybe also, but the Snapcaster's a clock, so... I don't know. We kind of just want to draw Pestermite, though. Let's get rid of the Snap. We might draw another Snap anyways. Whatever. Order doesn't matter. I guess I could click any order. Excuse me? 4 lands? That's just the worst possible case scenario. Okay, yikes. Let's, untap and draw. Alright, Shark Typhoon is a good one. It's a very good one. We'll play our Cascade Bluffs and pass it back. Okay, well, that was the most unfortunate scenario with the Valakut Awakening that we could have run into. Of course, our opponent doesn't know that, but... My goodness. How did it get so bad? Oh, should have already relicked our opponent, by the way. Ah! Do this. We're losing time on our relic activations here also, but it is necessary. Alright, let's cycle Shark Typhoon for X equals a lot. Let's see, we can hold up Remand plus Gust. and that might be good enough. Good enough for me. Yeah. Just make a big shark. Don't think about it. Just go. Just do the thing. Draw a card. 4 is not even that big when it comes to sharks, but more lands, of course. Well, I think it's about time to cash in this Flooded Strand, because I don't want to draw any more lands. I really don't. Pretty done with that particular effect. Alright, opponent, this is your chance. Cast something. You know you want to. We actually don't want them to cast anything here, so they may not know that. For all they know, we might have forces up and stuff, and we have 7 cards, so yeah. Don't know how that Valakut Awakening made our hand so much worse, but it really did. That's variance, I suppose. Our opponent's catching up on clock with their thinking here. So, that's actually kind of nice. It's possible our opponent will have boarded out Living Ends as well, so maybe we are free to cycle this relic. We can wait. Sulfur Falls, okay. Full clock. And the shark also trades with a rhino if they manage to resolve that one. Pass it back. All this mana, but only 3 counterspells. Yikes. Is this a Electro Dominance for a lot? For 4, huh? We can gust this, we can remand it, we can cryptic. I think we cryptic. Counter draw. Remand our cryptic command. Do we care about this? We can remand their remand, which I don't love. We can remand our own cryptic and then recast it so they don't draw the card off of their remand. That seems a little excessive. We let this resolve and just go for the remand. It's kind of awkward. I think we just need to remand their remand, as sad as it is. It's going to leave us with no interaction, though. Okay, never mind. Let's just let this go, and we'll cast our cryptic again. The counter draw. Mystical Dispute doesn't do anything here. Force of Negation does something. Do we remand the Electro Dominance? That seems kind of stupid, right? We could remand the Force, but if they have another blue card, then we're toast. We're gonna have to cast this remand anyways. Alright, well, I guess we just keep the clock in play and remand the Force and hope that they don't have another blue card or something. At the very least, we get several cards out of it, so Mystical Dispute kind of cleans this up in a way that is too good for our opponent. But, alright, the remand worked. Let's see if they have another card to pitch to the Force. Or if they choose to even go for it. They may not. Please just resolve. Cryptic Command, please just resolve. Just counter the Electro Dominance, let us draw the card. You know, all that good stuff. They're fetching, that's not good. Alright, let's exile a card. Because it's important, you know. Let the fetch go. This has got to be... Oh, they're using Sanctuary. Absolutely not. We're most certainly... Oh, they're putting back a remand? Yeah, let's not. They might have... I don't know. We gotta use this relic. If they had a blue card to cycle here, then they would have a card to pitch to Force anyway, so it's like, whatever. And our hand is all lands, pretty much. Alright, resolve. Come on, just resolve. Just resolve, Cryptic Command. No! Okay. We got. We have a Gust for a Rhino. I'm assuming our opponent is Oh, they didn't cast anything off of the dominance. Okay. That works for me. I was assuming we'd have a clock going here, but apparently not. We might be okay. Might be talking too soon. Curator. Okay, so they've got a creature in play. Okay. Another Snapcaster Mage is interesting. We don't want to cast that one. Let's play the island. Pass it back. We might as well snap Cryptic to bounce draw. If our opponent doesn't do anything. Let them attack. Yeah, I'm willing to get aggressive here. We just need to find cards. Let's always yield this one. I don't think our opponent has Snapcaster Mages of their own. Bounce draw. Opt. Okay. They're playing it again. Alright, we'll opt. Mystical Dispute. We can dispute, snap, dispute, but that seems like a waste, so let's bottom. Kiki's good. We can snap opt and maybe find a reman. Probably not worth it. We can actually snap opt and try to find a Pestermite. Ooh, Pithing Needle. That one's a huge problem. Now our Kiki is not very good, because they're probably going to name Kiki Jiki here. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess we snap opt anyways, just to be... Actually, that doesn't play around dispute. Nah, let's not. Alright. Land. Pass it back. Do we play the Kiki anyways? Maybe we do. I think we can. Yeah, we'll play the Kiki. Don't see why not. I'm not doing anything else with our mana, so... If they attack, then we'll be able to attack for 6. We don't have any bolts to finish out the game, though. Although, our clock is much faster than our opponents if they start attacking, so... Not that we can do anything about their big blue creatures that they can just cast instead of cycle. But, right, we'll take our 4 damage here if they attack. Not like we can block it anyways, with the flying going on. Our opponent's debating not even attacking, and they don't. Right? Time to snap opt out of desperation, mostly. We need the other Valcut Awakening. That's what we need. That's what we want. Cryptic Counterdraw. Yikes. And we just keep drawing lands. Okay, well, let's pass it back. We can still draw Pestermite into Cryptic Command so we can bounce the Pithing Needle and go off that way. So, there's that. They're cycling cards again. This one is 7 mana. So I guess they could have cast it. I suppose they didn't want to. Maybe it would give us a Mystical Dispute target or something. Alright, let's just keep going here. Another Aether Gust. Not really what we needed. Pass it back. Electrodominance for 2. I mean, we can gust this. Doesn't matter. I guess we gust it. Like, what else are we doing? They'll probably just put it on top and recast it, but at least we deny them a card draw. They might even fight over this. That would be amazing. They're now lower on clock than us. They put the dominance on top. Okay. They're passing again. They're attacking. Ooh, they're attacking this time. Nope, they're not. They decided against it. Untap. Something good. Cryptic. Archmage's Charm. I'll take it. Right? No more playing any lands. Don't need to let our opponent think that we don't have anything to do. And if we draw Valcut Awakening, we'll have some cards to put back. So, Electrodominance for 2. We'll let it go this time. This Kiki is probably not going to be the thing that we need. Footfalls. We'll guess that one. For sure. Remand. Go ahead and remand. You got it. Force of negation. No. Let's counter the footfalls. Sure. And now we can just yield. Hey, it worked. Okay. Not too bad. Our opponent probably has enough time to beat us before their clock runs out, so can't really hope for much there. Pester Mites are still good. Never mind. Right, now we're just gonna lose to the creatures. Not much we can do about it. Snapcaster Mage. Let's snap Charm to draw. I guess that plays into Force Negation, which they could hardcast anyways. Yeah, let's snap Charm to draw. Remand. Okay. And I think we lost. Unfortunate for sure. Maybe we need more Valakut Awakenings in the deck, to be honest. Pestermite. I guess that does technically give us an additional turn. We could draw another Pestermite, and that would allow us to do some things. Guess we need to upkeep this, but that's okay. It's probably not going to resolve, so. Doesn't matter which one of these we tap, so. If it resolves in the first place. Alright, remand. You got it. Pestermite. Tap that one. Let's always yield this bad boy. Yes. Well, block. Block. Alright. No creature, Pestermite off the top. As foretold. Okay, that's fine. Footfalls. That's not fine. Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command. Remand. Great. We lost. Good games to our opponent. Thank goodness this game is finally over. Whew. Okay, so we are 2-2. Unfortunate, but what can we do about it? Definitely impressed by Valakut Awakening, and I could see a strong argument for playing as many as 4 in the deck, to be honest, but I don't know. We'll see, and we'll reserve some of that decision-making for the end, where I'll go over the deck list and the changes that I might make. Yeah, this has already been way too long, so I will see you guys for the next one. The Red Face Menace, signing off.